Welcome to WarThunder Naval. I am Commander Tyrael, and this is the Type 120, otherwise known as the Köln-class anti-submarine warfare frigate, end of the grind for the German coastal tree, are also available on the marketplace as the Lubeck. It is a true top-tier vehicle, requiring players to have a strong grasp on every facet of naval combat, as well as a deep understanding of a role that a modern frigate plays. So what is a frigate? In different eras, the roles and capabilities of ships classified as frigates have varied greatly. In the 17th century, a frigate was any warship built for speed and maneuverability. In the 18th century, frigates were fully rigged ships, that is, square rigged on all three masts. They were built for speed and handiness, and they had a lighter armament than ships of the line. In the 19th century, the armoured frigate was a type of ironclad warship that for a time was the most powerful type of vessel afloat. Developments in ironclad warships had made this type of ship obsolete, and thus the term frigate fell out of favour. During the Second World War, the term frigate was reintroduced to describe a sea-going escort ship, intermediate in size, in between a corvette and a destroyer. Modern frigate is a warship that weighs between 300 and 7,000 tons, and is fitted with a variety of missiles, weapons and radars. It is designed to operate autonomously, alongside a battle group, or as an escort for non-combatants, depending on the type of mission. Frigates are an essential component of every navy, and since they are less expensive than destroyers and cruisers, these ships normally make up the bulk of a naval force. Every modern navy employs frigates in some capacity, with a variety of mission types and doctrines, dictating their design philosophy. The ships of the Köln-class were the Federal German Navy's first major surface units after its constitution in 1956, consisting of Köln and 5 sisters. They were the world's first ships to feature a combined diesel and gas propulsion system, with the vessels named after former warships, which in keeping with tradition carry the name of German cities. The ships received numerous refits during their long career with new electronics and torpedo tubes. Under extremely heavy weather, the ships proved to be very vulnerable, with cracks constantly discovered. These defects could never be fully resolved, despite reinforcing actions. The Köln-class were good-looking ships and were built as smooth deckers, giving them very elegant lines. The very diagonally cut bow and the knuckle ribs in the foredeck make it very easy to navigate. The hull and parts of the superstructure were made of shipbuilding steel, with other superstructure parts being made of aluminium. Due to the installation of gas turbines, large side air inlets were necessary, which could be closed by lamellas. The stern was designed as a round stern, with a large funnel that was sloped and skirted. Behind the bridge superstructure stood the tall lattice mast with radar and other antennas, with the hull divided into 13 watertight compartments. On the forecastle sat a 10cm gun. Behind it, set higher, was a 4cm twin gun. Behind it stood two 37.5 quadruple anti-submarine missile launchers, a 4cm single gun on each side of the aft of the superstructure, and another 4cm double mount at the end of the superstructure. There was a second 10cm gun on the quarterdeck. In addition, there were two 53.3cm torpedo tubes behind the front superstructure that fired Mark 44 torpedoes. The survivability of the frigate is less than a destroyer due to the smaller crew numbers and lighter construction. It lacks armour, which is compensated by speed and firepower. Despite not being the most well-armoured frigate in the game, its firepower is comparable to a destroyer and some early cruisers, due to the modern weapons and systems. Mobility-wise, it is one of the fastest frigates or destroyers in the game, and as for now, despite the ship's displacement and size, it is able to reach speeds above 40 knots, making it terrifyingly fast for a ship of its size and firepower. It is able to do tight turns with greater speeds than other frigates, as well as accelerate and decelerate quickly. The 10cm cannons have access to two types of shells, HE and HEVT. Both shells have the same performance of just under 2 kilos of TNT, with the exception of a proximity fuse. Carrying a few HEVT as an extra for air defense, they will decimate any aircraft, but they are only recommended to be used with a tracking radar. The Mark 44 torpedoes have an extremely slow travel speed and can only really be used point blank or against trapped opponents, doing very poor damage. The rocket system has an explosive equivalent of 107 kilos, almost the same as a 250 kilo bomb. They are deadly against all light armored targets and can be used to destroy all vessels to create heavy exterior damage to enemy ships. Aiming this rocket requires practice, as the low speed makes the fire adjustment tricky. Always use the rangefinder to aim vertically and do not attempt to eyeball it, as they can be very inaccurate. The Köln has access to an air surface search radar and a fire control system, unique for this ship class. The air surface search radar gives you a huge advantage over enemy pilots. The fire control radar is modelled as a very accurate and fast loading rangefinder. This can be used to fire at long distances and plunge HE shells onto lightly armoured decks. The Köln-class should be used as a support and anti-air ship. The powerful 10cm guns are able to decimate destroyers and sometimes cruisers in minutes, not because of the rounds, but because of the rate of fire. The high speed and agility make it a decent runner when facing enemy ships and capping points. The torpedo can be formidable if used correctly, with the 40mm gun being used as a secondary weapon for everything when the main guns need time to cool, or at short ranges to button down the enemy ship. They are able to decimate light vessels in seconds, as well as planes. For this reason, the Köln should be used as an anti-air flagship. Absolutely no battleship or heavy cruisers should be engaged with the 100mm. Use them to damage and destroy outer modules on smaller ships and avoid bigger threats at all costs. Avoid direct confrontation unless directly supported by allies. Once all coastal threats have been eliminated and a sector has been locked down, you should move to assist your allies and take out as many modules on enemy ships as possible. Light cruisers can be attacked easily. You just need to only attack the decks. The Köln is fast enough to be highly aggressive if needed, but its armament is a little lackluster at destroying hulls. Your only hope is to be consistently aggressive and take out modules as they are repaired. The fire control radar and the fast rate of fire allow you to quickly switch targets and lay out as much damage as possible. You are a harasser. Your job is to consistently put pressure on the enemy so they cannot focus down your flagships or damage dealers. The ship does have a fairly high repair cost, and it can be quite fragile if you are focused down by the enemy. You really have to use every skill that you've learned on your grind through the coastal trees, including but not limited to accurate threat identification, target prioritization, situational awareness, manual control of all ships' weapons, positioning, sensor management, damage control systems, general seamanship, and just a little bit of daring, then you have a ship that'll give you a great time. If you need any assistance with any of those lessons that I've just mentioned, make sure to check out my Destroyer School series, which give you a good foundation on how to do these things, as well as my Torpedo Boat School, which will also give you the coastal skills that you need to get around the maps. As of 10 minutes ago, the channel just reached 3,000 subscribers. I'm super pleased to have you all on board, and I look forward to making great content for you long into the future. I have aspirations to reach 10,000 subscribers by Christmas. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button and see if we can make it there. I don't only play WarThunder Naval, but at the moment this game has my attention. Feel free to leave a comment below and tell me what you'd like to see in the future, or ask any questions that you may have. I endeavour to reply to everybody. But I'll just leave you with a little lesson that I teach everyone that thinks it's cool to hide behind a rock. Get in their face and ruin their day. While on paper this Moffat should beat me, the 40 mics do their work. And strangely, the AI gunners are smart enough to engage more than one target in this ship. Spray and slay, baby. Our mission is complete. It's time to head back to the hangar. 11,000 damage, only 50,000 silver lions, and no deaths. Until next time, Commander Tyrael, out.